Hello, beautiful people. What an interesting morning that I've had so far, right? Absolutely incredible. First of all, thank you for being here, right? I do appreciate it. I'm very thankful that I can spread my message and that you are there, you lovely people, beautiful people, are there and are able to also listen to and hear my message and maybe resonate with it as well. Maybe it can give you some perspective, right? Maybe it can give you some idea or insight, right? Or it might be something interesting to you that you might try in your own life, right? So what happened just now, like literally 20 minutes ago, I was having a conversation with a colleague of mine, right, a coworker. And I gotta tell you, it was not an easy one. There was a lot of judgment and blame from their side towards me, right? And from my perspective, it wasn't something big. It was something that we can communicate through and go through as people, as humans, right? Just calmly talking about it, discussing, asking each other, what do you think about this? Or can I help you with this? Or can I support you with this? Or yeah, stuff like this. Or I see things in a different way, for example. And God is my witness, I'm telling you. She just started talking and I felt this trigger inside, like I have to defend myself, like I'm this child, right? Because I do recognize it from childhood. I felt like a little child that some authority figure would come and tell me that I'm wrong, that I did something wrong. They wouldn't tell me how I feel, if they can help with anything. They didn't ask, they didn't say, for example, oh, you've done so many things so well. And you see those three tiny little things, like literally three words, those were, this and like that, and they could be said in a different way. And I felt this trigger inside, that I felt powerless. Do you understand? I felt powerless. And what in reality took my power away? What did happen? It was so much that took my power away. Nothing. That's just how we've been taught. That's just how we've been taught. And that's a mental process, mental and emotional, spiritual process that happens in those moments, and we become vulnerable because we hold incorrect perceptions and beliefs about ourselves and who we are in the world, right? That we are wrong, that we cannot fix something, that we cannot change something, that something in us is innately bad or not good enough when we're told something like this. And what happened, I felt this trigger, and man, oh man, I felt it, like I really felt it. And there were those thoughts coming, like to my mind, to defend myself, to explain that this is not like this, that it didn't happen like this, right? Because I was presented with a scenario of what she thinks might have happened, why I did that, and etc. And those thoughts that were coming to me were like of justification, of explanation, why this is not true, because it really isn't true. In my experience, this didn't happen like this. I didn't do it because of this and that. And those thoughts were coming, that I would get angry, that I would start blaming her, that I would start pointing out her mistakes, right? And I've seen many of those, but I wouldn't call them mistakes. I would call something that I saw and something that I was able to change. I was able to change and, communicate in a normal way, being like, all right, we're human. We all sometimes overlook something or miss something or whatever, right? And I've been having this intention in me, right? That when the day comes, that she would, for example, if the day comes, right? But I think I just let myself spit it out. Maybe I was expecting this. There we go. There we go. Sometimes when we say things out loud and we really understand what we were thinking or believing in. Yep. Alrighty. So it got exposed. I was expecting this to happen, right? Interesting. I was expecting this to happen, obviously, and it did. But my expectation, my intention was that when it happens, I am not gonna show her supposedly mistakes, what we call mistakes, right? Instead of calling them lessons or something that we can learn from, right? Or something that we can understand or see from another perspective, right? Instead of a mistake. And I had this intention that I'm not gonna tell her what she has done wrong. or anything like this. I'm just gonna, hear what she has to say, and I'm gonna move on, because that's what I want to do, right? That's what I want to do, because I know that I can revise it in my own mind, and I know that reality reflects that. Reality reflects this which I intend, right? And I focus on. So it happened like this, and triggers were all over the place in my mind. I was feeling all those emotions of anger, of powerlessness, right? Interesting, when we feel powerless, we also feel anger, right? But it's interesting that both those emotions are there, right? That we feel that we cannot do anything, but at the same time we start feeling anger and rage. That's something to pay attention to, I guess, right? And where anger arises from, right? Not feeling good enough, not knowing how to express it, feeling that this is not true for us, but having those thoughts and emotions, and suddenly we feel trapped like in a box, right? Not knowing how to get out of there. And actually how to get out of there is very easy, right? Just to accept how we feel, to see those thoughts for what they are and what they're telling us, and just to allow them and let them go. And it was not easy, right? It was not easy for me, and it was a big trigger. And all those thoughts and all those possible reactions and scenarios started, revolving in my mind. And a very powerful thought came to me, like that I can choose. In this moment, I can choose. And this lasted for like 10, 15 minutes, right? But it was constantly there, that I have a choice, that I can do the right thing, right? That I can do the good thing, right? Not fight back, not fight fire with fire, right? But fight fire with love. Meet it with love, allow them, to be whatever they want to be, right? I can say, of course, what I want to say, right? But it would come from love. And she was asking me, what can we do? What can we do? I don't know. I cannot think of a way. And I told her, because, I just ignored all the thoughts and triggers and perceptions that were given to me, in my mind. I just ignored them, and I said, well, this will only be changed through practice and experience. That's all. That's basically, I told her, that's all I can say. Because in reality, that's the only truth. In order for me to see it and then do it in a different way, I need to first see it. I need to first get used to it, right? And it was interesting, I'm telling you. It was so interesting because I was just saying the truth, my truth. I was not defending myself. I was not acting out from powerlessness. I was not following anger and judgment and blame, right? And victimhood, even though they were coming to me big time, right? And I knew in myself that I have a choice, and I chose the good. I chose the loving, right? I chose to take responsibility. And at some point she mentioned something like, and what about this? Do you know about this? You must have been taught about this. And I just looked like this, to remember if I know it. And I was like, no, I have no idea about it. I don't know how this works at all. And I was just just honest. And I felt that from this honesty, my power just arose. Suddenly, I didn't feel like a victim. I didn't feel like there's going to be a negative outcome, to this situation. I felt like I can say the truth. And the truth is the most powerful thing in the world. That's how it felt in the moment, right? I'm kind of retelling you and re-narrating the story. It just felt like this is my power, to say the truth. And if I don't know, I should say I don't know, right? From the place of truth, that I don't know. Not that I'm guilty, not that, I'm powerless, not that nothing can't be changed and stuff like this. Quite the opposite. I don't know it. And that's how it is now, currently. I don't know it. And wow, such peace arose in me, like I felt it in my body, that instead of being like, yeah, but maybe I don't remember, but yeah, explain myself or justify myself, right? I just chose to say the truth. And it felt so right, it felt so powerful, that no explanation or justification could have ever achieved this kind of an emotional and physical, mental, spiritual outcome that I experienced, right? In a day-to-day kind of situation. But those day-to-day situations are connected to everything. We call it work, we call it our job, we call it our profession, whatever. We call it other people. But those are the situations that we face. This is life. It's not like, oh, work is different. It's the same as everything else. It's the same as talking with your partner, to a person, to a stranger in the street. It's the same thing, right? And I was just experiencing the power of truth, because I knew that since this is the truth, nothing negative can happen. There can't be anything bad that can follow the truth. It's not possible, because the truth is perfect. The truth, this is why it's called truth, because it means that it's perfectly aligned. It means that there is no resistance to this notion. You're not resisting feeling ignorant. You're not resisting somebody thinking less of you. You're not resisting any of that. You're not judging. It's just like that. This is why kids are so pure, so honest, and we feel this honesty and purity, right? This lack of condemnation, of self-condemnation, condemnation of others, etc. Power, absolute power. Absolute power. And we see it more and more nowadays. More and more parents are coming from this power, the power of truth and the power of love, the power of your heart and of who you truly are. And we see so many children nowadays, so many children, they just know what they want. They just know. They seem to express their opinion from knowing, right? At least in my experience, that's what I see, like very, very often. And I hear other people talking about it. Even my mom, she went on a retreat a month or so ago, and she was telling me about a child there, and she was telling me exactly what I've been already noticing. She was telling me, you know, this child, she acted as if she knew exactly what she wants in all situations, right? And it's a child, right? So she wants those things that we would call silly, but the knowingness of what we want is this power that I am referring to now, and also that my mom was referring to, and other people that I've talked with about those things. So stay in your power, people. Stay in your power, because truth, honesty is your power. This is where you're greater than anything. No people, events, and circumstances can affect you if you stay in your truth, in what is true, not running away from it, right? Not running away from it because you think it's judgment, right? Responsible, right? But the truth, because then there is nothing to regret. There is nothing to regret after that. There is nothing to resist. You said everything that could have been said. Yep, powerful stuff. And just after my conversation with this woman, I started revising the whole conversation in my mind, and I started seeing her as perfect, as ideal, as I know that inside she is. I started seeing her as a very loving, motherly figure, you know, that is appreciating everything good that anybody else has done, right? Like in particular in this case, right, in this situation, me. Right, that I started revising it and seeing our conversation in an ideal way. And I started feeling this ease, you know, from the conversation itself, right? I chose another perception, right, in my mind, in my memory, because essentially that's what we do. And we can shift everything like this. And in this way, what happens? First of all, peace of mind happens. Second of all, we create a memory or a thought or a perception, whatever you want to call it, of something ideal, of something loving. And next time we're in this situation, it will reflect our own perception. And this time, this perception, however, is of love, right? Is of peace, is of ease, right? Is of acceptance, of understanding, of lightness. So I've been revising the conversation, and it just occurred to me as an inspiration that I can record a video right now because I feel so inspired and at ease, right? And I feel in my power. I feel that this truth, however small it might look, because of the situation, you know, an everyday situation, right? I'm not facing the devil or anything like this, right? But those are exactly the situations that matter. Those are the situations that really matter, because this is the way that we're kind of building our own self-concept. And when our self-concept is based on truth, right, and choosing the good, letting go of judgment, you know, the more we do that, the more purified our mind is also from those thoughts of judgment, you know, because the less attention we give them, the less power we give them, which is our focus, our attention, and our reaction from and through them, the less often they visit us. The less often we are this which we've been taught to be, which we are not. And the more often we are who we are, truly, in our power, in our essence, in our truth, in and from our love. I'm going to leave you with that, beautiful people. See you very soon. Have a wonderful day. Love you. Ciao.